So why not live on a narrowboat? And I would say to anybody, based upon what I've been through, is if you love your heat so much and just flicking a switch and your central heating comes on and you're constant in heat and that you can't bear the cold, I would say don't live on a narrowboat, because it does get cold. See, we're in a steel tube, so it heats up really fast and it cools really fast. And when we first moved on, we didn't have proper heating. In fact, it was so cold some mornings we woke up and there were little icicles on the inside of the window. So I would say that's something. If you really don't think you can do without those kind of 21st century home comforts like central heating, if you think you'll be so unhappy, facing the cold, then no, don't come on a narrowboat, because that is something you're going to have to face at some point. It will get cold. Mind you, it does heat up very fast as well. So another thing as well is maybe I should just talk a little bit about social things, because where are you going to be when you get your narrowboat? People have their own networks of friends and family, but your narrowboat that you buy may not be anywhere near there. So you might feel kind of lonely as well. And if you're not able to deal with that, if you feel that you really need your friends and your family around you pretty much all the time, I would say think very carefully about living on a narrowboat. Although you will meet other boaters and there is a camaraderie, there's a kind of a community amongst boaters, so there's something that you get there. But the other thing is there's just so much that you need to understand. If you are going to live full-time on a narrowboat and live this life of freedom, you have to become self-sufficient. To become self-sufficient, you have to learn how to light a fire, how to get more gas and link that up when you run out of gas to cook with, where are you going to get coal from, how you get water in, where the next water point is. You have to learn all these things. A lot of boaters buy a boat and then they never move. Now, that's really just like buying a flat, but on water. But you've still got your water supply and your electricity supply in the marina. And all you've done is move from land onto water. But if you really want to be able to cruise and travel around the towns and villages and canals of England, you have to be self-sufficient. And that's a massive challenge, because we've been conditioned to be consumers. And making that transition from passive consumer to active, proactive, self-sufficient boater is a really big step. And I don't think everyone is cut out to do that. And I would say perhaps the biggest ingredient that you'll need is courage and self-belief that you can do it. You can work things out. You'll find out what you need. So I would say, there's a number of reasons there why not to live on a narrowboat. If you love being a consumer and you want an easy life, you want to just press a switch and you don't want to face the cold, you don't want to have to learn all about where you get your resources from and how you monitor them. You don't want to face perhaps at times being lonely, or not so much lonely but more isolated. And you might be way out in the countryside and you might be frightened by that. So you've got to be able to deal with your fear as well and know that you'll be all right, because you will be, but you don't know that until you do it. So I would say there's some pretty big reasons not to live on a narrowboat. I know what the rewards are. They're huge. but don't just do it blindly. Some people do it blindly, and 6 months down the road, or 6 months down the canal, they sell their boat because they realize they can't hack it. It's too much. So you need to really think about this, and if you want to make that transition, you want to know that you believe enough in yourself to be able to do it. Otherwise, don't do it.